Can you believe it's almost race season? It is very cold outside, but we are working on a race car. Don't forget to go to turbojohnracing.com to grab yourself some swag and pick up that cool flip coin. And I have not cranked this thing up yet, but we're fixing a cold start it. It's like 35 degrees. So I'm gonna have to spray some brake clean in it, and that stuff will get it started up. So it should be pretty good. Hopefully, this thing, there ain't no way it's gonna cold start in this weather, but I just want to crank it up real fast, make sure everything still sounds good. So today the goal is get the crossover pipe on it, get the turbo on it, get the cold side pipe on it, and get it actually hooked up. And we're gonna see if this thing will make a little bit of boost. So that's the main reason I want to crank it up. Get it warmed up without the turbo on it, get the oil a little warm so that it will flow pretty good. And then we'll crank this thing up, and we're going to try to make a little bit of boost. We've got our no prep tune-up in it, so it's kind of low RPM. And, you know, it's not going to have a bunch of boost. It's not going to have a lot of CO2 pressure on it. So we're going to try it, see how it goes. Push it. Okay. Well, you can see cold in this type of temperature, 35, 36 degrees out here. It is not starting without brake clean. And brake clean is your friend. Make sure you get the flammable version. And usually it fires these methanol cars right up. A lot of people don't use it, but it's just easier to me than just sitting there, you know, running it over and over and over and over and over, you know, wearing on the starter or wearing on the battery. It just doesn't make sense to me. So the crossover pipe's on. This thing hardly ever lines up, so we had to put a screwdriver in there. It's been so long I couldn't remember how I did it. I put my oil feed line back on, and if you look at this, this is my flange. It started off, there's a monkey fab. That's a monkey fab flange, but it was just the flange, and it was prior to this old hole I had where I had a single wastegate. Anyway, this is a monkey fab flange. If y'all have not ever heard of monkey fab, he actually has a YouTube channel, and he's got some awesome stuff. But one of the things he does that I didn't know about it when I got this one is he actually makes this now, but they've already got stub outs welded to them, and it looks much better than this. Okay, so we are ready. We are done. So you see that it looks so much more like a car when the turbo is on it. It's crazy. So the way this thing works, just going to show you my CO2 controller real fast. This comes off of the turbo housing, of course, and it goes down to this T, and that goes to, oh boy, look at there, I done put it on the wrong side. I'm glad I was doing that. Look, this one goes always to the bottom of the waste gate. That's why you double check it. I was in a hurry when I did it. This is my CO2 sensor. This is the actual CO2 pressure. CO2 pressure always goes in to the top of the waste gate. Ideally, I would cut that to the proper length, so we couldn't do it like this one. So this is the one that comes from the turbine housing or the compressor housing, and it goes over here to the bottom, and then the CO2 comes over here to the top. The other thing that's important with CO2 is making sure it'd be better to come to this T and then go across. And then what happens is the CO2 comes here and then it splits. And you know, probably ideally, honestly, it would probably be even a good idea to have these the same length. This down here is in my turbine housing. This right here is my back pressure. Of course, it's a stainless line. It comes over. If you follow it over, it goes over here. And this is my little manifold that I made. And yes, that's some terrible wiring. Devin Vanderhoof, if he's watching, is throwing up. But this is just a brass tee. I put some Scotch-Brite pad in it, trying to smooth the pulses. And they say you can do a copper wire and coil it, and it does the same thing, but you know, I've had decent luck with this. This is my O2. I've got a zippy tie my O2 line. Water in the heads. The way this works, put water up here in this tank, and then it comes through, feeds in to the back of the intake, and this intake has just 2 ports, one on each side. Water goes down through the head over here, comes out, and then comes up through here, and then goes through my fuel pump that is turned into a water pump. And it may be locked up since it has not run in a while, so we'll try to turn that on in a minute. But oil lines, you know, number 6 feed, that could be a number 4 since I have a ball bearing turbo, but it is what it is. It's just one of those things. It's number 6 from where I had a journal before, and then so it's fine. It actually, if you look, if I was to take this off, right down in there, there's a very, very, very small hole. So the restriction is actually in the center section. Drain line is a number 12. And you see I've got this sleeve on it just because it goes so close, and so it goes right through the headers. So I just want to make sure my push light line does not get overheated. Now this thing is a race car, so I mean it doesn't get run for extended periods of time. Okay, so this thing is ready. The only thing I gotta do is these 2 lines over here are the breather tank overflow, so I gotta put those on real fast. And then we're gonna crank this thing up, put the computer on it, and then we're gonna, I've got my no prep tune-up in it. It should make maybe 1 pound to boost, but we're gonna just spool it up and see how it sounds.
I'm gonna go ahead and warn you. When you get off the gas at the end of the pass, be prepared.
Is it still spinning? It just stopped. Oh my God. All right, that's it. Yeah, everybody can't breathe. Oh. It's in my eyes. It's a little rich. All right, guys, we had to push this thing out. We couldn't breathe in the shop, so we pushed it outside real fast. Everything seems to be working fine. The problem that you have, how you lose races, is very simple stuff usually. I had the CO2 bottle on, but I forgot to turn on my little quarter turn valve. So I had no CO2 pressure. And so neither one of those, and that's why I turned the RPM up on the second one, and it just had no CO2 pressure though. But the RPM went up, but you can see it was commanding target boost 8 PSI, but it had 0. So it made 0.6 pounds of boost. So that's what it does. So make sure, you know, you do, when you're doing this, you got to check everything. You know, that was a test. It should have made about 6 pounds of boost right there on that last one, but it didn't. You know, it is what it is. That's how races get lost, and that's how races get won, being people being consistent. All right, guys, so we're ready. Hopefully we can go race this weekend. It's fixing to start raining again out here now. And but this weekend we're going to be racing. Hopefully, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. Go to turbojohnracing.com. Get yourself some swag. Appreciate it, guys.